In today's video, we're going back in time to 1946 in the heart of Cairo. We're not just talking about ancient Egypt here. This is the tale of a modern Egypt in transition, still bearing the marks of colonialism, but on the cusp of a major shift. Our story revolves around a prominent figure, Amin Osman, a name synonymous with wealth and British allegiance. He held a pivotal position as the Minister of Finance, a key player in Egypt's economic landscape. But his true significance lies in his staunch advocacy for Britain's continued presence in Egypt. A controversial stance that would ultimately cost him his life. Imagine yourself stepping into a typical day in the bustling city of Cairo. The year is 1946 and the streets are alive with activity. Suddenly, a commotion erupts, shattering the tranquility of the day. The target, none other than Amin Osman, gunned down in cold blood. This isn't just a random act of violence. This is a calculated assassination, a testament to the growing discontent with British influence in Egypt. But who was behind this audacious act? And what were their motives? Let's delve into the intricate details of this captivating case. Osman's journey began with humble beginnings. Born into an ordinary family in Cairo, he clawed his way to the top through sheer determination and intellect. His rise was nothing short of meteoric. He quickly became one of the richest men in the country, amassing a fortune that made him a prominent figure in high society. But his wealth was only the tip of the iceberg. His real power lay in his political clout. As the Minister of Finance, Osman wielded significant economic power, shaping the financial policies that governed the nation. However, his most controversial role was as a staunch supporter of British interests in Egypt. In the post-World War II era, Egypt was a cauldron of emotions. The scars of war were fresh, and the people were eager for change. They yearned for independence, for a break from the colonial past. But Osman was firmly planted in that past. He saw the British not as oppressors, but as partners. A sentiment that clashed violently with the nationalistic fervor sweeping the country. His pro-British stance made him a lightning rod for public anger, transforming him from a respected politician to a symbol of oppression in the eyes of many Egyptians. His most significant contribution to British-Egyptian relations came during the Suez Crisis of 1956, when Israel, France, and Britain launched a military operation to regain control of the Suez Canal. Osman played a pivotal role in rallying support. His efforts helped isolate Egypt diplomatically, paving the way for the intervention. This event only solidified his image as a British collaborator, a label that stuck to him like a second skin. It was no surprise then that when he stepped out into the streets of Cairo, he was met with hostility. Every passerby was a potential threat, every shadow a lurking danger. His life was a tightrope walk between his grand home and his office. But he never let fear dictate his actions. He moved through the city with the confidence of a man who knew he was on the right side of history, or so he thought. But fate had a different script in mind for Amin Osman. On October 27, 1946, as he strolled along the Khazar el-Nile street, a seemingly ordinary day turned into an extraordinary nightmare. Two men on a motorcycle approached him. One of them, armed with a pistol, fired multiple shots at close range, piercing the heart of the influential minister. Osman collapsed on the pavement, mortally wounded. This wasn't just a crime. It was a declaration of war, a direct challenge to the status quo. The people of Cairo erupted in celebration, hailing the assassination as a victory against British imperialism. The news of his death sent shockwaves across the nation and beyond. Political figures mourned the loss of a brilliant mind, a man whose contributions to Egyptian finance were undeniable. But amidst the shock and sorrow, a sense of unease began to spread. Who was behind this heinous act? What drove them to end Osman's life so brutally? The investigation into Usman's murder was nothing short of a labyrinth. Clues were scarce, Witnesses were hesitant, and the motive remained murky. The police were faced with a puzzle that seemed almost impossible to solve. Was this a crime of passion, a political vendetta, or something more sinister? As they dug deeper, they uncovered a tangled web of secrets, lies, and deceit that implicated several individuals. Amongst them was none other than Sirhan, Ismail Hassan Sirhan, a member of the political party WAFD, known for its staunch opposition to British influence. The evidence against him was circumstantial, but compelling. He was charged, convicted, and sentenced to life imprisonment. Justice had been served, or so it seemed. But the people of Egypt were not satisfied. They craved answers, not just for Usman's murder, but for the larger questions that loomed over their nation's future. Why was Usman targeted? What did his death signify for the future of Egypt? Osman's death did not occur in a vacuum. It was a single thread in the grand tapestry of Egyptian history. It reflected the deep-rooted resentment against British imperialism, a sentiment that had been brewing for decades. Egypt was not just a colony. It was a battleground for influence, a tug-of-war between those who wanted independence and those who wanted to maintain the status quo. Osman's assassination was a pivotal moment in this struggle, a turning point that shifted the balance of power. But the ramifications of this event extended far beyond the realm of politics. It had profound social and cultural implications. The people of Egypt were caught in the torn between their loyalty to their leaders and their desire for a better future. This event wasn't just about one man's death. It was about the soul of an entire nation. The ripples of this assassination reached far and wide, touching lives and shaping destinies in ways that were both immediate and long-lasting. One of the most significant impacts of Oman's death was the growing distrust between the Egyptian people and the British administration. The British had long been seen as the oppressors, the colonial rulers who exploited Egypt for their own benefit. But Oman's murder brought these tensions to a boiling point. The people saw it as a symbol of British oppression, a confirmation of their worst fears. This mistrust eroded the fragile fabric of their relationship, making cooperation and coexistence nearly impossible. Furthermore, Osman's death played a pivotal role in galvanizing nationalist sentiments. His murder was a rallying cry for Egyptians across all walks of life. It united them under the banner of independence, fueling the desire for self-determination and freedom from colonial rule. This surge in nationalism would become a defining feature of Egyptian society, shaping its future trajectory in profound ways. The assassination also had a profound impact on Egyptian politics, setting in motion a series of events that would transform the political landscape forever. It created a power vacuum that was quickly filled by ambitious leaders, seeking to capitalize on the prevailing sentiment of unrest. These leaders, driven by their own agendas and ideologies, maneuvered to gain control, forming alliances, striking deals, and engaging in fierce power struggles. The political arena became a battleground where every move was laden with intrigue and uncertainty. Moreover, Osman's death had far-reaching consequences for Egypt's international relations. It strained ties with Britain, a significant power on the world stage, and led to diplomatic tensions that reverberated across the globe. This event thrust Egypt into the center of international politics, forcing it to navigate complex alliances and rivalries. Egypt's foreign policy became a delicate balancing act, trying to assert its independence while managing the fallout of this pivotal event. It is important to remember that the assassination was not just a singular event, but a catalyst for a series of interconnected events that shaped modern Egypt. It was a critical juncture that led to profound changes in every facet of Egyptian society, from the economy to culture, politics, and foreign relations. The echoes of this event continue to resonate, reminding us of the complexities of history and the lasting impacts of individual lives. As we reflect on the legacy of Amin Osman, It is essential to acknowledge the bravery of the individuals who fought for justice and equality in the face of adversity. Their courage and resilience serve as an inspiration, urging us to strive for a better world. Remember their sacrifices, honor their struggles, and draw strength from their unyielding pursuit of a more just society. And finally, let's talk about the British officers involved in the case. Specifically, the most senior one, Major General Sir John Gracie. After Amin Osman's murder, Gracie was the top British official in charge of investigating the assassination. He was someone who strongly advocated for maintaining British control in Egypt. And he did not want the investigation to implicate any British subjects in Osman's death. Gracie was heavily criticized for his handling of the investigation. Many Egyptians and even some British officials believed that he was trying to protect the real culprits. For example, he initially refused to release the names of the 2 men who had been arrested for the murder, claiming that he did not want to cause panic. But this only fueled speculation and conspiracy theories. Additionally, Gracie's decision to try the 2 men in a British military court rather than a civilian court further damaged his credibility. Many saw this as an attempt to ensure that the men received a fair trial, but others saw it as an effort to shield them from prosecution. Perhaps the most controversial aspect of Gracie's handling of the case was his decision to implicate a young Egyptian army officer named Gamal Abdel Nasser in the murder. According to Gracie, Nasser had been involved in a conspiracy to assassinate Osman, although there was little evidence to support this claim. Gracie believed that Nasser had been radicalized by his time in the military, and that he had become a threat to British interests in Egypt. He therefore ordered Nasser's arrest, and charged him with conspiracy to murder. Nasser's arrest and trial became a major embarrassment for the British. Not only was he a popular figure in Egypt, but he was also seen as a potential leader of the Egyptian Revolution, which ultimately led to the end of British rule in Egypt. Gracie's handling of the case contributed to the growing sentiment in Egypt, and it ultimately undermined his position as a British official. After the case, Gracie returned to Britain and he was knighted for his service in Egypt. However, his reputation was tarnished, and he was never again placed in a position of authority. And there you have it, the complete story of Amin Osman and his assassination, a pivotal moment in modern Egyptian history. Let me know what you think of the case, and if you want to see more videos like this. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe for more updates. Thanks for watching.